Hi, everyone. Welcome to Divine Key. Welcome. Welcome. I'm just checking to see whether or not I can see the comments. I'm trying something different this time, so let's see how it goes. Welcome to Divine Key, spelled QI. I'm Chris, and today is Workout Wednesday. Yay! Excited for that. Um, let's see what's going on, everyone. I'm going to give it a few minutes to see if people show up. It's just 10 o'clock. So, um, yeah. So, as I do that, I'm checking my phone to see whether or not I can actually see it show up as comments. So, excuse me while I look away. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay. Well, let's see. All right, so at the moment there's no comments. So anyway, I think we're gonna get started. I'm getting a message about frame rate, so I might have to look into that, but I'm gonna go forward with it for right now. So if you saw the description, I don't know how Facebook works, so we'll see what happens here. But hold on a second, let me just check this. No, that's all good. Um, Yeah, I love Facebook. No, not really, I don't. But today we're talking about anchors. So, what's going on is that for me, again, welcome to Divine Key. I'm Chris. And what's going on today is that it's the day after the summer solstice. So, the summer solstice happens between June 20th and June 22nd, depending on the year. And it is the longest day of the year. So it's the day with the most daylight hours. And for me, that is a tipping point. It's a time of planting a seed. It's the beginning of abundance, the abundance season before, when we get to harvest in the fall. So, tying in with that, I kept being called to talk about anchors. The word anchor kept coming back again and again. Last week at Workout Wednesdays, we talked about bridges. So, we have bridged over into from the summer season. So, we're in the summer season, and I'm thinking about anchors. And what is an anchor? So, what I did real quick, I'm going to read it, is from the Merriam Webster Dictionary. This is what an anchor is. It can be a noun or a verb, so that's kind of interesting too. Um, it's a device, a metal device attached to a ship or a boat by a cable, and it's cast overboard to hold the boat in place by the means of a fluke, which is really interesting. I didn't know that the bottom of the anchor is called a fluke, and that might be another topic for a Workout Wednesday or a post because, how do we use the word fluke? So that's interesting to me. So it holds a boat in place. It's a reliable or principal support, like the quarterback is the anchor of the football team. It serves to hold an object firmly in place, like a bolt. Um, it's a broadcaster for a news program that introduces other broadcasters and reads the news. It's the member of the team that competes last. So that's really important also. That one really spoke to me. It's the member of the team that competes last. So keep that in mind as we talk about this today. Um, it's a large business, such as a department store, that attracts other customers. So it's the store in a complex that draws customers for other stores. So that's interesting as well. And it is also a fixed object that a climber's rope is secured to. So we're going to go on with that a little bit more as a verb. So those were all the nouns. And then as a verb, an anchor, we're talking about anchors today. Welcome if you're new to my channel. And it means to hold in place, like anchor a ship, to hold securely and firmly, as in to anchor in concrete as a post, or to serve as an anchor. So the example they say is she was anchoring the rebuilding campaign, to cast an anchor or become fixed. So those are all the official definitions of anchor. If you're just joining us, it's a little 5 after 10. I'm Chris from Divine Key, spelled QI. And we're doing Workout Wednesday today about anchors. And going with the theme of anchor, so we're talking about the summer solstice being yesterday, and we're still in the energy of that because it flows for a couple days. I mean, it was actually a moment in time, but the energy flows. So just to be clear, the energy is different than the actual astronomical moment in time. So it is a time to plant seeds of intention. And in planting the seed of intention, you could be anchoring an intention to be able to root and grow forth. So here's the question I have. When we talk about anchors, what's the first thing that comes to mind? You can pop it in the chat if you want to, or just think about it. Make a note of it if you're journaling while we do the Workout Wednesdays. But this whole concept of Workout Wednesday is to build a spiritual muscle, to tap into our spiritual practices in a way that we might not have done before, or that we can continue to work on going forward in small little pieces that builds our spiritual muscle, that builds our connection to our spirit side. So when we talk about anchors, so what are the anchors in your life? Are you an anchor? Are there people in your life that are anchors? And how do they show up as an anchor? What words would you describe them when you say they're my anchor, they're my rock? That's another way that people express people who anchor their lives. If you're the anchor, how do you think other people see you? Like, in which way do you show up as an anchor? Is it that you hold things together, that you keep them, you make people feel safe, you hold space for them? Or often in families, the anchor is the person who coordinates everything, makes sure that everyone has clean clothes and food, and makes sure they get the appointments they need. Often the mom, but it can be the dad or other family members who do that. Or are you an anchor for your coworkers? Are you an anchor for your friend group? Are you the one who coordinates everything for your friend group? Are you the one they turn to when they have questions in your friend group or in your family? Or you just seem like the solid one that when people are adrift or feeling untethered, they just talking to you or just being in your presence makes them feel more grounded, more safe. So all these words come in when we talk about being an anchor. So in the image I used a compass and a ship, because ships, when you think of anchors, I think we often think of the ship first, because you're out in the ocean and there's nothing to hold that ship in place unless they drop anchor, unless they drop something that keeps them in place. So as we think of the name, as we think of the word anchor, there are, I keep these pretty short, so only about 10 more minutes if you want to catch me, or you can always catch it on the replay, which is awesome too. But so one of the definitions that came in through the dictionary definition is the person who goes last. So if you are the anchor in any situation that we're talking about, friends, family, work, if you're the anchor, are you the one who always goes last? Ask yourself that. Take a moment and wonder, do I put everyone before me? Now, this is not good or bad. We're not talking good or bad or that you need to change anything. This really is just about awareness of it and having an understanding of how you show up in the world. and how the people around you show up in the world. So if you're not the anchor, if someone else is the anchor, are they the ones going last? Are they always putting someone else first? And is there a way that you can step in and be the anchor sometimes so that they don't have to be the one who goes last all the time? Um, the other piece of it is interesting because I'm a business owner and I hadn't thought about this until I read the definition, which is really super interesting. That an anchor store, like if we're talking malls, which malls are not as prevalent now, but any kind of shopping complex, there's usually anchor stores, and those are the ones that are big names, and they pull in the people who then shop at the smaller stores. So, if you own a business, are you an anchor business? Do you pull in the business for other businesses? Are you the central place that other businesses pop up in or use your facility? Or because you're in an area and you're the destination and people are then shopping at other shops in the area because they come to you first and then they're shopping in other areas. So, all the different ways that anchor shows up in our life. And the final piece that I was thinking of when I was thinking of anchor is an anchor holds you in place. It keeps you safe during the storm. If you're a ship in the ocean and you're not anchored, your boat is going to be tossed around and set adrift, maybe. And if it's a small craft, it may be lost at sea. Obviously, I'm not nautical, but just through the imagery that we grew up with, these are the things that we think about. So it can keep you safe in the storms of life, right? But it can also hold you back. If a ship is anchored, it's not continuing to explore, it's not furthering its adventure. So when we think about anchors, these are all things that I'd like you to contemplate as you go into the week. When we think of anchors, are we keeping the people and the situations around us safe? Or are we actually holding them back? And one way, we're holding them back from their full potential because there's risk in adventure, there's risk in a quest, there's a risk. You have to leave the village to find out whether or not you have a talent that another village needs or desires. So, as again, there's no good or bad here. It's just a matter of being aware. How are we showing up? How are our anchors showing up for us? Are we being held back? Or are we just being held safe in the storm? If it's not storming, then there's no need for the anchor. And even if it is storming, sometimes we have to weather those storms in the best way we know how. And sometimes we have to be our own anchor. So that brings up the final point of what is your anchor? Is your anchor a place? Is your anchor a person? Is your anchor a group? What is your anchor? How does it show up in your life? I would say that for me, interestingly enough, as I think about it, one of the anchors in my life is my journaling. Every day I journal. I've been journaling for quite a long time, and it helps ground me. Grounding and anchoring, I use them almost interchangeably. They're not the same, but they work together. And when I write in my journal, things become clear and I feel safer and I feel that I'm not adrift any longer. So it might be something like that, or it might be a person. Um, I'll offer up this thought for you. Is it possible that your anchor could be something greater than an earthly thing? Is it possible, and is it true, that your anchor can be a greater source, I don't care what you name that source. It could be God, source, spirit, the universe, the cosmos, Gaia, the earth, but something greater than your human beingness. And that's where my true anchor is. When I connect to source, when I connect to spirit, I feel free but safe. It's the best kind of anchor, right? It gives me the freedom to adventure. It gives me the freedom to explore, but it gives me a safe place to go back to. So, in that sense, when we talk anchor from a spiritual point of view, I believe that to have the greatest and fulfill your greatest potential, it's important to anchor yourself in something greater than yourself. And in doing so, you're not going to go last. You're part of the team because the source, the spirit, is the thing that is the final runner of your race and keeps you safe in the storms. So, along with that, I have some homework for you. I'd like you to look at the anchors in your life. What is anchoring you? How does it show up? What kind of energy does it bring? And um, when we look at our anchors, are they holding us back? Are they keeping us safe? If we are the anchor, are we holding people back or situations, or are we just keeping them safe? Is it part of the greater spirit, or is it just our egoic mind that is fearful and keeping us from fulfilling our full potential? So take a note, see what it feels like as you go through the week. And that is how you strengthen your spiritual muscle through anchoring. Maybe you don't have an anchor, and this would be a good time this week to seek an anchor of a spiritual kind. Now, as I say, anchoring and grounding are very similar to me. So there are some stones that can help with that. And if you want a physical thing that just reminds you to be present in your spiritual practice, anchor your spiritual practice. Crystals are a nice way to do that. And in the theme of anchoring, the ones that work best would be anything that's a black stone or a red stone for grounding. So, like tourmaline. Black tourmaline is a really popular one, but there are other ones out there. Black obsidian, jet is another black stone. So any black stone, and or we're talking the root chakra, which is a grounding chakra. So something like carnelian. It's hard to see this, I know, but any kind of red stone would work as well because that's a grounding stone, which also anchors. And then to take it a step further, there are teachings that the things like the Akashic records or your center is around your near your heart chakra. So heart chakra stones are very good in centering, grounding, and anchoring your presence on this earth. So stones like bloodstone would work really well, or even rose quartz. These are very inexpensive, easy to find, popular stones. I have them here if you need them. And even, yes, even just any old rock. Any old rock. It is a piece of earth, and if it calls to you, it's meant to be yours. So all those stones and crystals can help with anchoring and grounding. And if you have questions, pop them in the chat or make a comment on a replay. Do hashtag replay, and let me know. It'll pop up on my feed then, and I can answer them. And until next time, this one went kind of long because it's a big subject. But until next Wednesday, be well, and thank you for joining me here at Divine Key Spiritual Gym. Bye.